Friday, 7th of June 2024 was the day Nigerian workers waited with bated breath in anticipation of a new minimum wage. The announcement was to come from the Presidential Tripartite Committee deliberating on the new wage. Eventually, at about 9:30 that night, the announcement was made.
Have agreed on a figure, 62,000.
10th of June 2024, the report of the committee was submitted to the President for further action. At this point, the recommendation of the committee is expected to be drafted into a bill and forwarded to the National Assembly as an executive bill.
Now, the letters are now taken to the two chambers. The communications are directly addressed to Senate President and the Speaker of the House. Now, both chambers will now read the content of the communication from the Office of the President to the hearing of all members at plenary. Now, that constitutes the first reading of the bill.
After first reading, it will go for a second reading, where it will be debated extensively in both chambers of the National Assembly and referred to the appropriate committee for further legislative scrutiny and input through public hearing. These inputs will be collated to form part of the report the committee will present on the floor at plenary. This is where the final amendments are made. The legislators may decide to pass the exact amount submitted by the President, increase or decrease it.
Our law, our powers give us the right to either increase or reduce. The processes that brought about this bill was almost a public hearing. The sitting of the organized labor, the private sector, government with the and then government, and then later on the 37 tripartite committee. Is almost like a public hearing.
Once the report has been adopted, the bill separately passes third reading at both chambers. If there are differences, a conference committee is constituted to harmonize the discrepancies, and the bill is forwarded to the President for assent.
It's a process that can be abridged and done within 1 or 2 days. The National Assembly could make it 200,000, and they have, or more. They have the right to do that. All the President would do is to veto the bill. That is to refuse to give assent to the bill. If the President so refuses to give his assent to sign the bill to become an act, the National Assembly could follow its process to accept or override the presidential veto.
Once the National Minimum Wage Bill receives presidential assent, it becomes binding on all employers of labor in both the public and private sectors. This is why these stakeholders were represented in the Tripartite Committee.